live and pre-recorded. This is the Red Ticket Blues podcast. I am Brian Buckley. This is being recorded on October 11th to hit the internets on October 12th. How's everybody doing? I just flew in from London, and boy, are my arms tired, huh? That joke works in corny offices and second grade classrooms, nowhere else. You can follow me on Twitter at BrianBuck13 and at Red Ticket Blues, and listen to this show and all the other shows that preceded it on iTunes, TuneIn Radio, Stitcher, YouTube, and Google Play. Does anyone actually use Google Play for podcasts? Does that happen? Is that a thing? I don't know. I just say it. I've never heard one person say, yeah, I listen to this podcast on Google Play. Anyways, I'm just shitting on all Google Play people. So how's everybody doing? Like I said, my vacation from Europe is over. If you listen to the last podcast, the audio has obviously improved here. I know some people were upset with it. I won't mention any names, but residents of Yonkers. It wasn't Jadakiss. It wasn't DMX. It wasn't the owners of Soyo Restaurant from Bar Rescue. But you can put the pieces together there. And you see, Soyo Restaurant it's up for sale. If you guys are Bar Rescue watchers, the one I guess they didn't work out. Undesirable activity in and around Soyo led Yonkers officials to declare the bar a public nuisance. I'm sure it doesn't have anything to do with the owner that was drunk, maniacal, and trying to fight everyone all the time. So I'm sure his alcoholism cleared right up when John Taffer left. John Taffer must cry at night when those places close. The same way an athlete cries when they see their jersey burned. I'm sure it's a lot of depression that sets in when you see events like that. Really, you start to think, what the fuck am I doing? God, if I can't even do that. People want to burn my jersey, and then they close their restaurant. All right, enough. Let's move on. So, yes, I am back. I didn't do a second podcast last week because my wife and I used Airbnb. We've been using Airbnb for a long time. This was the first time we actually used it as a shared room. We've always rented the apartment or house, and it was ours. It was ours. We were allowed to do whatever we wanted, just a lot of bad language, a lot of slurs, all sorts of stuff like that. Ate food off the floor, didn't use the toilet, things like that. But we actually had to share a room there in London, and the people were fine. It was a couple with two kids, nice, in a flat there in North London, in the borough of Islington. You all know that, right? Right on the northern line. What a disgusting! The underground is disgusting. Your snots turn black. It's gross. I was reading that if you're on the underground for 45 minutes, it's the equivalent of smoking 2 cigarettes. So take that into consideration. But anyways, let me get back to the point here. It's a little different. You're sharing a house with somebody. You have a bedroom. And, you hear the kids running around in the morning, and you don't want to use the common areas that are basically open to you. I mean, it says it there, but it's like, it's somebody's house. They're coming home from work, and I just want to be like, hey, how you doing? So I went to this museum today. They don't want to hear that shit. It's just an awkward process. The people were nothing but nice, and they actually told us where we could score drugs in Camden. But, I mean, it was kind of an odd request. It was like within 10 minutes of meeting them, too, which I found to be, tad bit fucking weird. But yeah, so that's that. But I really couldn't do a podcast with me talking and possibly swearing. It was like a 7-year-old on the other side of the wall. Mommy, Daddy, the Yank is swearing. I think that's how English people talk. That's my best job. That's my best shot at it. So speaking of museums, I mean, that is something you do on vacation when you go far away. And it's not like my wife dragged me to museums. I like museums. But they started to get on my nerves this time. It's either churches or museums when you go to Europe. You see the sites that they're known for, or you go to museums and churches. And I swear, back long ago, all they did was build churches and paint pictures of the nobles. They didn't do anything else. It must have been quite a lot, and probably heavy alcoholism. The guys at Soyo would fit right in. But I mean, museums though. People are sick everywhere. Next time you go to a museum, too, I noticed this. When you go up to like an exhibit, look at all the smudges all over the fucking window, the glass. It's gross. I want to think that those are people's hands. Who knows? Those are people's fucking faces and noses. People are disgusting. I don't know. Where do we go? British Museum. So the Rosetta Stone, read the whole thing. Didn't make much sense. But I mean, a lot of the stuff there, it's covered in glass. I mean, it's very old. It's very old in a museum. Can you believe it? So I just looked, and there's just fingerprints and just smudges everywhere. Do they I guess that the curators have to clean that at the end of the day? That's like the newbie's job? Or is that just clean all the shit off of every exhibit in that entire museum? Or do they just leave it there? Who knows? I don't know. No one seemed to care. All the animals, they're sneezing, disgusting everywhere, coughing, not covering their mouth. And I'm not even a germaphobe. Well, it sounds like you are, Brian, but I'm not. I'm 5 minutes into this, and I'm just complaining about germs. I don't know. But Europe is done and over with. Oh, on the plane, I'll tell you, I haven't even gotten any sports. Maybe people like hearing about this. I don't know. So on the plane, so sit down. And it's a full flight. The one there, it was beautiful. There's hardly anyone there. Just relax. Of course, I mean, I'm going to sound like Al Bundy here, but I have the middle seat, and I got my wife on the right who has the window, and on the other side, it's a fat lady. And listen, I'm not trying to rip on fat people, but she tried some sneaky games too. I'll tell you this. And this wasn't just chunky. This was big. She was very, 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 very big. She tried playing some games. She was big enough where she had the whatchamacallit? What do you call that thing? Armrest down. And it was still seeping into my side. I don't really like ripping on fat people because you know what? Everyone has a reason why they do. And some of it could be completely out of their hands. Some of it's not. But she was sneaky though. And I didn't really appreciate it. What she would do, I wanted to go to the bathroom, right? And, I pulled up the thing. She said, I can't have an armrest. And I would get up. And I'd come back. I'd put it down again. And I'd start to talk to my wife. Next thing I know, the armrest is up again. And she has scooched her body to the side where her side is against the seat. So now she's taking up more real estate to be more comfortable. I'm sorry, I have a fucking problem with that. That goes beyond, she's a little chunky. No. Now you have an angle. Literally. Pardon the pun. You have an angle here. You're doing so. She's very nice. Very nice. Then there's the other element, which we didn't really hear that much. I thought it was going to be an issue throughout the 11-hour flight. And my problem with going to the bathroom, I made it. Both flights, didn't have to go. In fact, I barely even peed. I did it on the floor. No, I didn't even have to. I think I total. I'm. This is why you listen to the Red Ticket Blues podcast. How many times did Brian piss on 2 airline flights? I think I only went to the bathroom like 3 times. Yeah. So, anyways, so the guy in front of us, and I thought it was going to be an issue the whole flight, but, once the engine starts going, you can't really hear anything, especially with the people in front of you. But this guy, who looked like maybe a younger, more strung out John Denver, saying he basically just started chatting up this English bloke sitting next to him about anything and everything, that he is a DJ. And he's been working in Poland the last 3 months. And he was from California, and he just had this trucker mouth. He's like, man, I've been sitting in Poland the last 3 months. I'm so fucking tired of hearing Polish people talk Polish. And he got angry about that. He then said, man, last time I was on this flight, I drank a lot. What were some other funny lines? God damn, I wish I had some Coke right now. And when is the waitress bringing water? I don't know if this guy was a fraud. I mean, he did not look like your DJ. I mean, this was like something you'd see like DJ Pauly D talk like. This guy was in his 40s. Like, I don't know what house he's rocking. Maybe like the retirement home. I don't know. It was terrible. But I don't know who would hire him and be like, yeah, that is going to bring asses here. That's what's going to make this club hot. But didn't have to hear him. And then we get to San Francisco. Boy, I tell you. And I'm almost done with all this, and we'll get to other stuff. I tell you, can TSA make it more complicated? So let me tell you about the process here. You come in off your flight. You wait in a line where they basically push you to U.S. citizens or global citizens. The woman working there had no clue. People were just sort of going. They had one person for hundreds of people. She really didn't know what was going on. So we get in this long line. Boom, 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 boom. I'd say we're in that line at least 20 minutes. And then you take your passport out, you put it in the machine, they print I guess, it certifies everything, supposedly. Who knows? And then it prints. You take a picture of yourself present day. It's a little slip, like a deposit slip at the bank. Give it to you. Okay, great. You get in another line. It's all to justify federal spending. My opinion. You get another line where there are 40 little booths of people that will stamp your passport. 40. This is for the entire global and U.S. I'd say for the U.S. side, I think for the global side it was probably just as little. But for the for the U.S. side, I'd say there were five open. So you can you can guess how long it took. So we wait there. Guy stamps that. We then walk 3 feet to a man who looks at the stamps, says, okay, which we then go through again. We then get another line. Yes, another line where it is a Border Patrol guy, dressed to intimidate. He then takes that picture of you, and that's the process. My God, man. If it were one thing to say, listen, we're keeping you safe, and there were all sorts of procedures that were actually done, I'd be like, you know what? I'll wait in the line. I'm sorry, walking 3 feet to show a signature, that doesn't make me feel any safer. It really, really doesn't. Your government spending right there. Dogs barking in the middle of my podcast. Your government spending. That's why if Donald Trump gets in, he's going to change things. Because you'd be in jail. Listen, that was the debate we were waiting for. That was the debate we wanted. Dude, Hillary has hate in her heart. Don't let her fool you. She has hate in her heart. Good God, man. That's quite an accusation. Listen, if you want me to put my right hand up, I'd say both of you have hate in your heart. But you know what? If I were running for president, I don't think I'd say that. She has hate in her heart. Anyway, so I am back. I started my first day of work today. If you think there's a chance in hell I will tell any of you animals where I'm working, you have another thing coming. So that is the first day of work I've had in over a decade, and I'm not telling you where I worked before. My name is Brian Buckley, but there's a lot of them out there. So if someone really wants to do voice recognition, they can do it. But anyways, don't want to put ideas in people's heads. But anyways, so I'm trying to get back into the sports world. And we got some NFL this weekend. Baseball's progressing nicely, processing nicely. What else did I want to talk about? America's new hero, Kenneth Bone, which, poor Bone. I think he's enjoying it, but at the same time, I don't know if he's realize he's being mocked. I don't know. And we'll talk about some other stuff. But let's what should we do first? Let's jump into the NFL real quick. I'll do a rundown real quick. And today I'm drinking I'm sure all of you craft beer drinkers out there are familiar with Stone Brewery. This is Stone Brewery. Stone Ruin 10 Triple IPA. Yes, triple. It's a 10.8% alcohol. So if I start to, sound ridiculous, because I never do throughout the podcast, then you have an idea why. So let's go to the NFL. Like I said, I wasn't able to do a Thursday podcast last week, but I did tweet my picks for the week, and I haven't even looked at them actually. Right before game time, so let's see how well I did on those. Let's see here. All right, come on. Okay, so I said Indianapolis -4. Let's go to that game. They won, didn't they? I think they won. Yes, and they covered. All right, 29-23. Brian Hoyer is now the 397 yards. It's not bad for Brian Hoyer, seeing he's a bum. But, yeah, 6 points there, 29-23. Colts win. And the Bears are rough, man. It is going to be a very bad season in Chicago. Not news-breaking, really, but that is a bad football team. You'd almost, I don't know, do you even want to put Cutler in there? I don't know what his contract's like. Do you want to even put him in there? Wait till he's 100%. I don't know. So there we go. That's one. Dallas +2.5. And they won mightily because I actually bet against my own pick. I took the Bengals, and obviously I lost. Well, I didn't even realize that Bengals scored 2 touchdowns there at the end in a garbage game. So there is 2-0. And my third pick was, how did that get? Andy Dalton. Dak Prescott, what is he? Is a lot of suspicion. Not suspicion, but, people dissenting ideas. Well, what is Dak Prescott? Is he the next coming? Or is he just doing everything right and he's really not that good? He's going to have a major test next week against Green Bay, so that should be a very, very interesting game. Very telling for Dak Prescott. Dak. And my other was Philadelphia -3.5, and they lost, right? Yes, they did. They lost to the Lions, and that was a game that went back and forth, back and forth. So that's 2-1. And that will put us at 7-5 for the season. So 7-5 during the season. I don't know if I'll do another podcast this week. I will try. So look for the picks. I mean, I know you're all waiting bated breath for my picks. So, anyways, let's go over the rest of them here real quick. You guys know everything that happened, but we will do it here. I didn't watch a second of Monday Night Football last night. We all know Cam Newton didn't play. 17-14. I was bitchy watching the baseball, which I'll get into. I had my full undivided attention on the Boston Red Sox game. And we know the deal there. I'm not even going to pretend like I watched it because I did. Redskins, Ravens. Ravens, you almost thought they were giving you something. They don't win. It's always ugly when they win. It's always ugly. And, Redskins, what are the Redskins? What is Kirk Cousins? I love all this cliche bullshit. I'm Phil Simms. I'm talking to myself, but I have to answer those questions though. So I'm not. I'm doing a half Simms. How much commentary I can bring to that game? Jets Steelers. What I think we all saw the writing on the wall with this game that it was going to be a bloodbath. But the Jets stayed with them at halftime. I mean, at halftime it was what 10? No, it was 13. It's 13-14. I mean, Steelers had a one point margin of winning. No. One lead. Got it. Lead. I'm sorry. But we have to start talking about Todd Bowles. And again, not breaking news here. This has been big news on the sports radio biz and all over Twitter. The Todd Bowles bloom off that Todd Bowles rose is, it ain't as pretty as it used to be. I mean, when you're calling a timeout where, late in the fourth quarter, the clock is stopped. Yeah. What are you doing? What are you doing? I mean, Rex Ryan will probably approve of that. That's some terrible game mismanaging there. And 4th and 2 on your own, 48 with down 11 with a few minutes left, and he decided to punt. He doubled down on it. Doubled down like Donald Trump on the video. He said he didn't do anything wrong. Actually, that's not what Trump said, but no. Bowles said, "Hey, it was the right choice." All right, Todd. Jets are now 1-4. Who are they playing next week? It can get ugly. Who are they playing? They're playing the Cardinals. They're playing the Cardinals. The Cardinals have been they've underachieved a lot this year. However, they are playing in Arizona, so that makes you think. I mean, Jesus, Cardinals are a 7.5 point favorite at this moment. I still don't know if I'd take that. I don't trust the Jets, but at the same time, the Cardinals have been lackluster, to say the least, so far this year. All right, so moving along, let's do this. We got a lot to talk to, and I spent a lot of time talking about a vacation that no one cares about. So Titans, Dolphins. Dolphins continue to stink. The Dolphins and the Bears might be two of the worst teams in the league. The Titans, we still don't really know what we have there. I mean, Mariota. I'm not going to tell you that when I have the NFL package, I'm tuned into the Titans games. Sometimes he looks good. He got hit again low, so you started to wonder, well, how's that knee? If he's not complaining about it, then he must be fine, Brian. Yeah, I know, because those guys always disclose those injuries. Just keep that in mind, because he is somewhat a mobile quarterback as well. So, DeMarco Murray citing 121 yards on 27 carries. Ryan Tannehill continues to stink, and we're not that concerned about that. Now, the Minnesota. I know where the Vikings play. The Vikings are 5-0, and our old friend Sam Bradford is leading that charge. And the Texans, it was 31-13 Vikings. So how many undefeated teams? Are the Vikings the only undefeated team? I think it was them and the Eagles, right? And now my computer's frozen. See, Chiefs, Jaguars, Seahawks, Saints, they've all lost. They had byes this week. This computer. Oh, God, I know you guys have all heard this song and dance. Maybe I start a Kickstarter or GoFundMe for a new computer. Oh, Brian, I thought you had multiple computers. Oh, shut up. Okay, so I think yeah. I had to actually pause that and look. Okay, yeah, they're the only ones. So, Patriots-Browns, Patriots 33-13. Tom Brady comes back, makes it look oh so simple. Can it be that it was all so simple then on Sunday? All right. You like that. And he has no problem saying cash rules Okay. So the Patriots 4-1 after being shut out last week against the woeful Browns, who are another. I said the Dolphins, Bears. So let's not forget how terrible the Browns are. So 33-13. Brady again makes it look simple, spreads the wealth around. Chris Hogan, 114 yards on 4 receptions. Give me a fucking break. Lions, Eagles, we already talked about that. Bears, Colts, we already talked about that. Broncos, Falcons. This is another one. This is the Falcons. Mind is playing tricks on us. I'm just throwing out rap songs from the 80s and 90s. They're 4-1. We've seen this game before from the Atlanta Falcons. Are we trusting it? Matty Ice, who has never done anything under the pressure. It's week 5, so not a ton of pressure. Broncos. Paxton Lynch is the quarterback, 23-16. Falcons take that home. The Raiders and the Chargers. The Chargers have blown how many fourth quarter leads? Phillip Rivers. You want to feel bad for him. You say, well, he's a millionaire with 1,700 kids. He must be happy. And listen, he's lived his life well, and he's doing well for himself. But it has to wear on a man's soul to play for the San Diego Chargers year after year. It's beautiful weather. Yeah, why not? Enjoy yourself. But to just have it ripped out of your fucking hands every game. Every game. And the Raiders, 4-1, looking good. Excuse me, burping up a little of that beer. You got the 49ers coming back this week, too. Speaking of Bay Area stuff. Well, I am in Northern California, so just figured I'd bring that up. Colin Kaepernick will be the quarterback. For as much of a dope and jackass he is, he should be the one starting quarterback because Blaine Gabbert is a atrocity and he should quit football. Now they restructured the deal of Colin Kaepernick, and as we've talked about several times on the show, that was a major issue with the team. So they've restructured it, injury liabilities, yada, yada, yada. So he will be playing. Now, let's remember the last time Colin Kaepernick played. He was not very good. Now, some may attribute that to injuries that sidelined him for the rest of the season last year, but the last showing from Colin Kaepernick was not the same guy we saw in the Super Bowl. So, national anthems aside, regardless of what you think, I'm not going to do it. Well, let me tell you, no. He should be the one starting. So maybe that can change the 49ers season around. We will see. As they're back in action next week. And the Bills and Rams 30-19. Just when you thought the Bills were going downtown, they were going under, and Rex Ryan was on the hot seat. And people are actually saying that. They're 3-2 now. So 3-2. Cowboys, Bengals, like we talked about. Bengals. The Bengals, I wouldn't be shocked if they're around playoff time, though. They're 2-3 right now. They seem to just turn on the magic, and then they'll lose that first game. We all know it. Giants and Packers. The Giants aren't looking too good. I think that's you would expected more of a blowout, honestly. And I'm not saying the Packers are world beaters by any stretch of the imagination, but Giants are 2-3. Odell Beckham, we didn't really talk about it last week at all, is a menace. No, he's not a menace. He's a baby. He's a big crybaby. The Giants were down a touchdown in a game, and he hugged the kicking net, which, I mean, you want me to say it was an atrocity to humanity? It really wasn't. I understand what he's trying to do, saying, hey, I'm showing you guys, I'm trying to get beyond my childish ways, but it's another instance of attention being drawn to Odell Beckham, especially in an instance where they're down a touchdown. That's probably not the best look in the world. I'm not going to go crazy over it. I'm not going to whip my hair out. But I don't know. You don't. I do know. It's not something you really want to do. But I'm not going to sit here, rant and rave, and act as if that was, something that he should be expelled from the team. And we talked about those 49ers before. They're 1-4 now. They lost on Thursday night. So anyway, we're already 25 minutes in. Let's get this fucking thing moving a little bit. So the MLB playoffs, I found out I had a job yesterday. So I went and I got a big burrito. I got a nice beer. And I sat down and I said, you know what? I want to see David Ortiz end. And I did! I saw him end. And it's good to see, I have to steal this one from Simon and Yonkers. It's good to see the Indians get a W on Columbus Day, huh? It's a long time coming. Yeah. About 500 years. So good for them. No, but do you see Pedro Martinez on MLB Network, going saying, listen, I have to, pay, I think the Indians are going to have to pay homage to the Indians. And when I do that, I say, oh. That's, Pedro can get away with that, though, because he's Pedro. But seeing David Ortiz end, David Price, and obviously he didn't pitch yesterday. And Buchholz, honestly, for as bad as Buchholz is, he didn't pitch that bad. And the Red Sox had plenty of opportunities in Game 3. Plenty of opportunities. Left a lot of guys on base. But it ended. And I said to myself in the beginning of the playoffs, there are 3 teams I do not want to see win the World Series. 1, the Toronto Blue Jays. 2, the Chicago Cubs. And 3, the Boston Red Sox. So one of them's gone. One of them is gone. Goodbye, Boston Red Sox. Goodbye, David Price. You overpriced, loudmouth asshole. Well, that really wasn't that great, but he's, we all, 270, like I said on Twitter, that we should get rid of the stupid Warriors blew a 3-1 lead and replace it with the Red Sox gave David Price $217 million. He's just excited to get ready for next year. Good for him. Good for that whole fucking team. Oh, man. That Red Sox team, that Red Sox fan base already had them in the World Series. Tremendous offense. But, So David Ortiz says goodbye. And he came out after the game, and, I'm not going to rip that at all. There's nothing wrong with that. But it was very awkward. He didn't have a microphone or anything, and he just tipped his cap on the pitcher's mound. He's not a pitcher. Well, he doesn't have a position to play. That's right. He's a designated hitter, but he also thinks he's God's gift to the game of baseball. I guess maybe should he just stand in the on-deck circle maybe? I'm ripping all designated hitters right now. They've all tuned out because they all listen to the show. But it was awkward. He just tipped his cap for 3 minutes. There was no talking. You could tell the crowd was sort of like, okay, yeah, puppy. All right, what do we do now? And Ernie Johnson and Ron Darling and Cal Ripken somewhere in this. Can we get rid of Cal Ripken for the rest of eternity? The guy's terrible. We all know he looks like a potato, and he brings nothing, no sense of humor whatsoever. I mean, at least Al Leiter has a sense of humor at certain times. Cal Ripken is a very narrow-minded jackass who, tell me where you are, Iron Man. Ernie Johnson just kissing up to him on his knees. But the Red Sox are gone. And as we speak right now, which I never understand why I do this, because by the time you listen to this, it will already be a decision or a resolution or a final score. Stop trying to use big words and just get to the point, the meat of the matter. And it's possible the Cubs may have advanced by the time you listen to this. But I'm going to look up the score anyways. Why? To waste your time while you're sitting in your cubicle. I know. What are you going to do? You're going to turn it off because of this? I highly doubt it. It's 1-1, top 4. So, and the Dodgers won today, which will force a Game 5 on Thursday in Washington. So, I don't want to see the Cubs win. I've already talked about it. We need tortured fan bases. And if the Cubs win, they're just another team. And then we have to start rooting for, I don't know, what other? The Rockies, the the Mariners. It's not the same. It's not the same. The Astros. It's stupid. They're expansion teams. It doesn't have the same ring to it. So, and I don't want to see the Blue Jays win, even though they are a hot team. They steamrolled over the Rangers, which I don't think anyone saw coming. So they will take on the Indians, who, hey, let's talk about a hot team. Those are 2 hot teams. That's a sweep right there. So should be interesting. I do not like the Blue Jays. I don't think anyone likes the Blue Jays. I don't even think Canadians like the Blue Jays. They just like them because they're winning. Go baseball, men! You win games. What is that? That's a pitch? No, but Jose Bautista and his painted on beard, who's always surly and thinks everyone's against him. And you got Encarnacion who sticks his arm out, which, whatever, if that's the worst thing in the world for holding his parrot, then I guess that's not terrible. But you got Josh Donaldson, who, let's all be honest here. If Josh Donaldson was not playing baseball, he would be hawking like fake Nike jeans at the flea market. And I know they sell fake Nike jeans because I bought them there on the boulevard in New Haven when I was in high school. I thought, I am going to be the coolest kid wearing Nike Bugs Bunny jeans. You know why? Because nobody has that shit. You know why? Because it's not real. If he wasn't playing baseball, maybe he wouldn't do the flea market gig. He would be working at a carnival, playing the ring toss game, hitting on freshman high school girls. Y'all like Camaros? I got an 87. Black. Right behind the dunk tank. Want to check it out? God, that guy gives me a bad meth head vibe. So we'll see what happens going forward with all of that. So the debates real quick. I spoke about them earlier. Donald Trump is a lunatic, but that was the debate we were waiting for. We wanted that debate. That was the one where he got dirty. He got nasty. And you know what? I think he can get nastier. And I want him to prove it to me. I'm not voting for Donald Trump. I'm either voting for Hillary or nobody. I think that's all it is. I'm sorry. I know there are people that listen to this that are voting for Donald Trump, and they are fans, and they support him. I'm sorry. I can't support him. He's a lunatic. He's a madman. And I don't think he is suitable to run the country. However, that does not mean I don't enjoy every second of the debate as he rips Hillary Clinton, because they're two repugnant human beings, which that's been beaten to death. Oh, lesser two evils, lesser two evils. Oh, this is the worst. This is all we have to offer. They're both terrible. I get it. But it was great. Because listen, if you want to go by zingers, Trump won. Oh, not a chance in hell that she even came close. He won in the zinger department, no doubt. Sorry, Mom. My mom's listening to this. And she's saying, nope. My mom is a die-in-the-wool Democrat who, she loves Hillary, too. And I'm sorry, but he won in the zinger department. So... It's hysterical listening to. He's a crazy person, though. He is crazy. But I will say this, and not that that video was funny. The video of him saying crude sexual remarks about women, as borderline sexual abuse or the just bad thing, bad look for a president. While I will say that a president cannot say those things, and it is a terrible look, especially to a female voting public. The idea of the sanctimonious public, the sanctimonious media, saying, I have never heard locker room banter like that. You heard Jake Tapper, CNN, say, I have never heard in a locker room. I have been in a frat. I have never heard talk like that. Men, you want to say it's a systematic thing that's wrong with the misogynistic world out there in the way that men view women? Go ahead. But men, don't act like you've never heard things like that before. I heard worse in my 6th grade locker room than that. I'm just saying. I'm not saying it's right. I'm being an investigator here. Facts, man. Nothing but the facts. Dragnet style. That's all I'm saying. So stop with the morality police. Now, saying this towards Donald Trump, yes, it's awful. And you cannot say that. You want to be in the public, you want to be running for political office, you cannot say that. But let's talk about what really came out of that, and what that was Kenneth Bone. It had nothing to do with Hillary Clinton, nothing to do with Donald Trump. It was Kenneth Bone. Some of you are saying, who's Kenneth Bone? Kenneth Bone is a man who wore a red sweater, looked like a complete dork. A guy who lives in his mom's basement, the cliche mom's basement, where all people, if you go on the internet and you disagree with someone, then you have to say they live in their mom's basement. Never their dad's basement, their mom's basement. And he asked a legitimate question regarding energy, which is something that's really lacking, environment, energy, from any of these debates. It's all about the hot button stuff, Obamacare, terrorism. That's the only shit. You never hear anything about energy, which I think we should. And by the way, I brought this up on Twitter. I think, whether you're for helping Puerto Rico's finances or not helping it, regardless of what side you stand on, Don't you think they should be bringing that up during debates? Because that affects our finances, the United States finances, by Puerto Rico's finances. That affects people's 401ks. That affects people's retirements and mutual funds. Not one question. And people say, Brian, you're biased. You got a Puerto Rican wife. Maybe a little bit, but I do find it a little interesting. But Ken Bone, he became an internet celebrity. He said in an interview he had 7 followers before that debate. He now, I believe, has something along the lines of like 160,000 at this point. I don't know, and I'm one of them, and I'm completely guilty of this. He's sort of like Harambe, where I'm going to be all talking Kenneth Bone, Ken Bone, until I don't care. Until Barstool makes a shirt of Ken Bone, and then they already have. Fuck that. That thing was out like 30 seconds afterwards, but maybe we should just pull back on Ken Bone. But he is funny. He's taking it all in jest. He's sort of just like, I don't know why people want anything I have to say. Poor Ken Bone. And like I said earlier, I wonder if he knows it's like a joke, sort of. Like, this poor guy probably went through such a process to be like, hey, I'm going to ask a question during the presidential debates. Told all his coworkers, and they're like, that's cool. And did you hear what Ken said? Who fucking cares? And he was so proud of himself, and now he's an internet superstar. Which, I guess that's good. But Ken Bone, and of course, the name, the sexual innuendos, Ken Bone. And he looks like a dork. It's sort of like, he's our ladies' man. He's America's ladies' man. And then Bill Clinton obviously wanted to talk to him, which was great. He, interrupted a conversation to say, excellent question. Go shake his hand. Ken Bone, America. That's it. That's all I got. And finally tonight, I don't understand why. Before I got into this, I don't understand why. No, Fox Sports, no, FS1, which if you're trying to watch the MLB playoffs, you have to look. It's on every freaking channel. There's 5 different mediums where it could be. And I'm someone who, I use my father's cable. Is cable listening? Is DirecTV listening? And multiple? Am I allowed to have multiple people doing it? And I use his things for certain logins because I don't have cable. We've gone over this. But Fox 1 plays these commercials where Undisputed show with Skip Bayless, America's favorite contrarian, and Shannon Sharpe, America's favorite lisp. And they have Shannon Sharpe say something like, oh, the Cowboys are a terrible organization. I don't think they have any idea what's going on. What is happening? And then Skip says, well, I think, and then they cut it off and they're like, want to hear what Skip has to say? Tune in to the show no one listens to. Here's the thing. The troglodytes who listen to Skip Bayless already know how he feels about the Dallas Cowboys. Do you think anyone's going through that fucking commercial and saying, you know what, I got to tune into whatever channel that's on at whatever time because I don't have a job, it's in the middle of the day, and listen to what Skip Bayless has to fucking say about anything? I read the other day, Richard Deitch of Sports Illustrated, a media guru with ratings and whatnot, said that show did a 0-0 last week. Is that possible? He did a 0-0? I don't have a show. You know what my score was? 0-0. Look at me. And I work for free. Fuck $5 million. That's my take. That's my first take. Second take and third take. That sounds like something he'd say. All right, done with that. You know what? I was going to bring up something about Chechnya and UFC, but that doesn't seem like a very pleasant thing to end it on. Chechnya and UFC for kids. Maybe I should put that part in. Check that out, by the way. We'll leave it with that. Tell you to check that out. UFC, which I think is the most ridiculous thing in the world, and I hate it. And it's too much for me. You're a pansy. I'd rather have boxing. Okay, I want to see. I don't need all the grappling and the hugging and all that. I'd rather just see someone's face get smashed in. It's a lot easier that way. But they got little kids doing it in Chechnya. I don't know what animals go to watch this. It looks like a stage crowd, like Universal Studios, and like Global Guts was on, or one of the Shrine of the Silver Monkey, something terrible. But like little kids fighting, they even came down from the crowd into the octagon. Different values there in Chechnya. Huh? We're too scared to let our kids play football with a helmet on, but they'll let them beat the hell out of each other with get their brain smashed in at 8 years old, all while a crowd sits there like savage dogs. So. I guess I did just get into it when I said I wasn't going to. Anyways, that is the podcast. I will try to do another one. I don't know if I will this week. I don't know how much news is going to happen. And I'm doing this on Tuesday night, so it would be a Friday podcast anyways. So unless you want to hear me every day, which if you do, you really need to go see a neurologist. But if you want to read my text every day, you can do that on Twitter at BrianBuck13 and at Red Ticket Blues. Like the show. No, what did I want you? No, I want you to listen to the show. If you're new, if you're old, if you're just in between. iTunes, TuneIn Radio, Stitcher, YouTube, and the Baron, according to me, Google Play. And if you really like the show, if you really wanted to be a true American, and listen, you can even skip your prayers before you go to bed tonight if you do this. I'll allow it. Go to Stitcher or iTunes. Most likely iTunes. If you have an iPhone, you have no excuse why you haven't left a review. It's pretty pathetic. Because I know you look at all the text you get, all the notifications. Oh, I need to update Instagram. You'll do that, but you won't leave a review. You're a disgusting person. And you probably watch Chechnyan boys fight each other in the UFC octagon. Go to hell. All right, thanks a lot, everybody. With all that being said, I'm out of here.